Hello everyone. Welcome to the next module in our series, Transforming Your Data Using Bold BI. The Bold BI application lets you connect to data and perform simple ETL processes within the application. With Bold BI, you can manipulate data for required analysis. The process of transforming your data includes renaming the columns, changing the data type of columns, and so on. In this video, we will discuss the data transformation options supported in Bold BI, which includes joining tables, joining data sources, handling column-level changes, building data filters, and creating expression fields. To begin with Bold BI dashboards, you must first register with Bold BI. To learn about the registration process, check out the video Getting Started with Bold BI, which is linked in this video's description. Now let's see how to join tables in the Bold BI application. Log into your Bold BI account and connect with the Microsoft SQL data source. You can learn how to do this in the video Connecting with an SQL Data Source, available in the same playlist as this video. Create Microsoft SQL Data Source in Extract mode. Once the data is connected, you will be redirected to the Data Source Designer page for editing. Data will be generally stored in multiple tabs considering factors like normalization. Through the use of joins, we can stitch the data back together and make it easy to use and understand. From the Table Explorer, we'll drag a table, Marketing Details, into the Table Design pane. Under Data Preview, you can see the preview of the data that belongs to the Marketing Details table. You can see that the join icon in the Tools pane is in a disabled state because there is only one table present in the Table Design view. Now we'll choose another table, Channel Details, and drop it into the Table Design pane. After this, if any of the columns in the most recently dropped table is a foreign key in any of the already dropped tables, then joining will take place automatically. Otherwise, it will prompt the query joiner, like this, to let you define the keys to join between the last table, Channel Details, and any one of the already dropped tables. In this pop-up, the left table illustrates the tables dropped already. The right table illustrates the tables you have dropped recently that require you to set up a relationship with the previous dropped tables. The drop-down list present in between represents the join condition. You can add multiple join conditions between the tables to maintain a single table relationship just by clicking the Add Field button. Now, let's see the types of joins. Two types of joins can be made between tables in Query Joiner. They are inner join and left outer join. An inner join will return matching records from joining tables. An inner join of Table 1 and Table 2 gives us the result of Table 1 intersect Table 2. In other words, the inner part of the Venn diagram intersection. Consider Table 1 with Supplier ID column and Supplier Name column, and Table 2 with the columns Order ID, Supplier ID, and Order Date. Now, we can join these two tables using the unique column Supplier ID between them. Now, as an inner join result, you can see the two tables get joined based only on the matching records in the unique column Supplier ID. Next, let's see about left outer join. A left outer join will return all records from the left table and the match records from the right table. The result is null from the right table if there is no match. Now, you can see the result of left outer join between Table 1 and 2. Here you can find all the records of Table 1 and only the match records of Table 2. Now let's talk about join conditions. To join two tables, you need to define a condition between those tables through any of the comparison operators. Based on the comparison operator chosen, the values of the two columns are compared and the relationship between the tables is established. Now, let's look at the join condition relationships. You can define the relationship for joining with multiple conditions in the condition selection block. You can also create a condition using the constant value instead of choosing a column as a right operand to join tables. For now, let me join both tables using the unique column Channel ID and click the Merge button to join them. Now you can see the join icon is enabled in the Table Design view. Also, you can edit the join condition by including another table. Let me drag and drop the Channel D table join it with the unique column Channel ID, and click Merge. You can see the change in data preview. Click Save and Exit to save the data source. Next, let's see how to join multiple data sources that are created in extract mode into a single data source in Bold BI. Using the Share Table feature, we can combine 2 or more data sources that are of totally different types, like Salesforce and Google Analytics. For a use case, like preparing an online marketing dashboard to track a website's conversion rate with Salesforce data and traffic sources with Google Analytics data, this feature would be an essential one. You can find a blog link in the description of this video that talks about preparing such a dashboard. For this video, let me combine a Microsoft SQL Server data source with an Excel data source. SQL Data Source Extract is a Microsoft SQL Server data source that I already created in extract mode. Now, create an Excel data source. Once the file upload gets completed, click Connect. Here, I'll import the student details table into the design pane. Under the Tree View panel, where the schema and the tables are, an accordion will be shown with the name Shared Tables. Expanding this accordion will show the list of extract mode data sources that the logged in user has permission to access. Note that the Shared Table accordion will be displayed only while creating or modifying an extract mode data source. Here, you can see the SQL data source extract, which I created with the extract mode in its tables. Drag the table Marketing Details so that these tables can be joined. Join these tables by applying conditions to the Student ID and Channel ID columns and click Merge. You can see the changes in data preview. Note that the changes will be made in the original data source. The Microsoft SQL data source extract from which the table originated will be reflected here as well. So, if users modify a column or data, or drop the table in SQL Server data source, this data source will also be affected. Like this, the data sources can be joined, and dashboards can be created from it in Bold BI. You can check out the video, Creating Your First Dashboard, available in this playlist, to learn in detail about creating a dashboard. Also, there would be some cases where you may need to connect data sources of the same connection type, like Zendesk data source. Post a comment for this video telling us what data sources you wish to combine for your use case. Next, let's see the formatting options on the table columns, like renaming a column and changing data type of a column. In the Data Source Designer, I have the Marketing Details table in the Table Design pane. You can rename the column name in 2 ways. First, simply double-click the respective column to enable edit mode. Type the new name and press Enter. Or, click the settings icon and choose Rename option to add a new name like before. Once renamed, you can see the changes in the data preview. You can change the data type of a column, like converting from string to int, from string to data, and etc. Here, the visitor columns is a string type. Now we can see how to change it to a number type. Click the settings icon in the visitors column and choose Change Column Type. You can see the supported types: date, string, and number. The default column type is specified using the default text, like this. Click on Number to change the type of visitors column from default string type to number type. You can see the changes reflected in the data preview. Other features are, you can hide the unwanted columns by clicking the icon that looks like an eye present in the left end of each column. You could also see the changes in data preview. Similarly, you can include the columns back whenever you need it by clicking the same. This is a really essential feature when you feel that in the visualization layer, your database table doesn't need to show too many columns. Next, let's configure data filters in Bold BI. Data filtering is the process of refining datasets with a wide range of strategies or solutions. You can refine your datasets to not include data that is repetitive, irrelevant, or even sensitive. In short, with data filters, you can restrict records visibility based on defined criteria. The configuration can be done by adding or deleting filter conditions. Let's see some common filtering use cases that would be needed with respect to 3 column types: numeric, text, and date time. First, let's see the filters that can be applied for a numeric column. In the Data Source Design page, I have the Marketing Details table and the data preview showing all the columns of the table. Open the Query Filter pop-up by clicking the filter icon present in the toolbar. To add a filter condition, click the Add button. Now, a filter condition will be added by default. Choose the Clicks column, which is of number type. For the numeric column, the parameters will be like this. Select the greater than condition and enter the value 120 in the text box. The occurrence of null values is common. You can filter values with or without null by checking or unchecking the Include Null option. If you check this option, only equals and does not equals conditions will be shown, like this. Based on these conditions, you may filter values with or without null. For now, I am unchecking this null option and will choose greater than. Now, click OK. You can see the changes in the data preview, with the clicks column having values only greater than 120. You can modify the condition as required. Next, let's see the filters that can be applied from a text type column. Let me add another filter condition and choose the destination URL column. For text type columns, the parameters will be like this. Based on a numeric column condition, you can configure the top in for a text column and limit the data. Here, I would like to show the top 5 visitors data of marketing. For that, I'll choose the numeric column clicks with aggregation sum applied to it. Using the include and exclude option, you can filter particular values from a text column. To do this, uncheck all items, select the required values, and choose either the include option or the exclude option. By default, the include option will be selected. Here, I'm going to include the only single URL. Hence, I'm unchecking this, and included the required URL value and click Apply. Now, click OK. You can see the changes in the data preview with only the selected URL values. Next, let's see the filters that can be applied to the date time column, like date ranges. For that, let me add a filter to the column Date. And the parameters will be like this for date column. In this dropdown, you can choose any of the options. Based on the option selected, the next dropdown will populate the values. For this video, let me select the month option in the dropdown. I'll pick only January and February months, and click Apply. Now, click OK. You can see the changes in the data preview displaying only the selected months. Like in the text type columns, you can also configure top in and date columns. You can delete the applied filter condition by clicking the close icon in the right corner of the respective filter condition. Next, let's see about expression fields. Now, I have opened the SQL extract data source created earlier in the Data Source Designer page, with the Marketing Details table and Table Design pane. Click the expression icon available at the top of the toolbar. The Expression Designer pop-up will open. An expression field is used to create an expression that is a combination of data columns, operators, and built-in functions. This expression field will act as a calculated measure that can be configured to widgets like other normal numeric columns as a quantitative measure. While creating a dashboard, KPIs and metrics need to be evaluated using existing columns. When it comes to Bold BI, most of these KPI evaluations can be done through expressions. This allows users to maintain and update tables with important columns alone, as expressions help to evaluate metrics needed for analytics on demand. So while creating dashboards, your database schema or your Excel file doesn't turn complex with more columns. Let's create a few expressions now. Enter a suitable name for the expression in the name text area. By default, it will be expression 1. You can find all the available function types in the functions drop down. You can click on the appropriate function type, and on the left side, you'll see the function description and example syntax. Also, you can see the column setting drop down, where you can find columns available in the connected data sources based on their data type. Let us calculate the customer acquisition cost, or CAC, using an expression. To do that, rename the expression name CAC, choose aggregation in the functions drop-down, select the sum function from the list box, and then select the revenue column. Add the division operator, select the count function from the list box, and then select the visitor column. And with this formula in the expression text field, let me save the expression. Once the data expression is saved, you can see that this expression was added in the column settings dropdown. This is because you can create another expression using the CAC expression as one of the columns. And you can find the CAC expression field here in the left panel. An expression can also be created without any aggregate functions. Click Add to add a new expression and rename it as Profit. In the expression text area, choose the revenue column, add the subtraction operator, and choose the expense column. Now, click Save. Similarly, I have created expressions for calculating the return on market investment, or ROI, and the click-through rate, or CTR. You can delete the expression by clicking the close icon here. Now, let me check the changes in Data Preview. Here, you can see the columns that were added as expressions. You can update a Create Expression field by clicking on it. Once it is clicked, the name and the appropriate formula is displayed in the text boxes. Here I select CAC expression and edit the expression by changing the aggregation function from count to countD aggregation type, and click Save to update the expression. Finally, click Save and Exit. And please note that all the data transformation processes in Bold BI are handled in the design mode of the Data Source Designer alone. Next, let me create a dashboard using the created data source. In the Bold BI application, select the data sources element in the navigation panel to get this data source listing page. Select any of the data sources, click on the appropriate context menu, and choose the Create Dashboard option to create a dashboard using that data source. Now you will be redirected to the Dashboard Designer user interface with a blank dashboard. You can find more information about each option inside Dashboard Designer in a separate video called Working with the Bold BI User Interface, available in this playlist. Configure the widgets using the data source to create your dashboard. Drag a widget to the canvas and connect it to the created data source. You can customize the widget through the settings available in the Properties pane. To learn how to create a dashboard from scratch in the Dashboard Designer and connect to your data, check out the video named creating your first dashboard, also available in this playlist. Finally, you can preview the sample dashboard created. Also, you can publish and visualize it. Click Yes to visualize the dashboard. In this video, we discuss different data transformation options like joining tables, joining data sources, handling column-level changes, building data filters, creating expression fields, and visualizing the dashboard. Post in the comments below any other transformation features you wish to be made available in Bold BI. In our next video, we will explore in detail working with widgets using Bold BI. So until then, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.